In this video, we'll be creating our first Vue.js component in our app. Typically, when we are building an SPA, we create a Vue.js component, then define a route declaration that maps the URL to the component. But since we're using Inertia.js, we don't need to define any client-side route. Just define a server-side route in the web.php file, which maps a URL path to an action. In the action, we'll then return a Vue.js component. So, as you can see in this route declaration, it maps the route path to the closure, but instead of returning a blade template using the Vue helper function, it returns a welcome component through inertia render, then pass some information to the component. This data will be available in the component through props. So if you go to resources, JS, pages folder, here you'll find the welcome component. And here is the prop declaration for the component. Beside the local props, Inertia also provides global props which we can access through $page.props. Also note that thanks to the Ziggy package, which is included when we install Breeze, we can access all of our route names as we normally do in Blade using the route helper like this. Alright, let's now define a new protected route for our first component. So here, inside the auth middleware group, let's define a resource route for product controller which we created in the last video. Okay, let's give it a save, back to our terminal, and then inspect our routes. Okay, here we see a list of routes for product research. With that, let's now open up the product controller. Then go to the index method declaration. Inside the method, let's return a Vue.js component by calling inertia render, and then specify the component. In this case, product index. So it will be index component inside the product folder. Now, beside using inner server side, we can also use the inertia helper function like this. Let's now navigate to resources, JS, pages, then create a new folder. This is gonna be product. Inside the product folder, let's create a new component. It's gonna be index.vue. Inside the file, let's add template. And for now, let's add a heading 1 and display a message. Now, if we go to our browser, then enter products, we'll be redirected to the login page since we defined our product route in the auth middleware. So let's go to our database, go to the users table, and then copy an email. Back to here, paste it there, and then enter password input with password. Now we'll be taken to dashboard. Let's re-enter the products. Unable to locate file in feed manifest. Sorry, I forgot to run npm run dev. Refresh the page, and now we see our component displayed on the screen. Now let's add the existing styles which we can see in the dashboard page to our component. So let's open up the dashboard component. As you can see, it uses another component as a wrapper component called authenticated layout. As the name suggests, this component is the main layout that is used by authenticated users. With that component, we only need to specify header and the main content. Outside that component, we call the head component, which is used to describe the title of the page. Now, if we open up the authenticated layout, it contains a nav element, page heading through header slot, and then page content through default slot. Alright, let's now find the dashboard link. It's not what we want. Let's find next. Okay, here it calls the nav link, which is a custom component that LARPer provides for us. If we take a look, it uses inertial link component with a bit of adjustment. Okay, let's duplicate the link. Then change the href to product.index, and we'll set it as active if the current route starts with products. Let's change this to products. Okay, let's find another dashboard link. Okay, here the responsive version of the link. Let's duplicate that and do the same thing as we did before. Now we see a new link added. Okay, back to dashboard. Let's copy everything. Go to index component we just created. Select everything and then replace with the previous code. Let's make a little bit adjustment. The title is gonna be Manage Products. Also in here. And then in here. Okay. Now we see our products component much better. Now that we have our first own component that currently displays a message, let's move on to the next video and see how to fetch data from our database and display it in our component.